there we go, something stopped. Okay, and one of the things, if you look at some of the DFC material and reports, Regan has got some really nice conceptions of the life cycle of research data and how collections move from people using, people collaborating and working on data in sort of the raw form all the way through to published reference collections. And so we really wanted to sort of overlay this idea on top of federated iRODS grids, because I don't think we talk about federation enough as one of the key parts of iRODS, especially for national cyber infrastructure. So what we wanted to do, what I wanted to do here was talk to you about virtual collections. And anyways, the idea is virtual collections are an interface specification. Basically anything that you can query and will return you an ILS, LA type response can be a virtual collection, whether it's something inside of iRODS, Elasticsearch, querying a Jana triple store with Sparkle. And what we wanted to do was, iRODS is kind of old school. We wanted to break this idea of hierarchical data, that all iRODS data is arranged by the catalog. So we do that through metadata. And what we wanted to do with virtual collections was sort of memorialize that and put any kind of query on an equal footing with a hierarchical relationship of the data inside iRODS. And so we've implemented that first as an interface and now with a couple of implementations. And this is the cloud browser, which Cesar, I think, is going to talk a little bit about tomorrow. And one of the first virtual collections we did was a metadata query. And so simply I'm going to come over here, I'm going to type demo. And I'm just going to go ahead and search the whole grid and look for, I'm just going to have one simple metadata query and I'll search. Okay, and that gives me a response, which looks like an iRODS listing. And you can see here those queries are now stored in recent queries, and now we can take these and promote them, rename them, re-edit them, reissue them. So the idea is that is a query that now appears to the user as an iRODS collection. Something really interesting to think about is that these collections, these queries can actually span multiple federated grids. And so the idea is now we can have collaborators who maybe have different data sets across a federated grid, and they can see their collections that they're working jointly on in one unified view. And I just want to also introduce the concept of publication, which is something we're working on with the Cypress folks and the Odom folks. So I hoped we could have this, but too many things intervene. The idea that you can take these virtual collections and then publish those virtual collections, which means you could gather data across a distributed grid and publish them either in some kind of archival format or just as another iRODS collection somewhere. In other words, pulling data from across the grid that appears as one collection and now creating like one actual physical collection. So we're going to be expanding these. We've shown them already with these collections appearing in iRODS using Sparkle. One of the things that we want to do on the DFC side is I know Cypress has lots of different ways of doing things like tagging and star files and sharing so that we could actually create virtual collections in the cloud browser that map to how Cypress contemplates them so that artifacts you see in the discovery environment can show up in the cloud browser. And the idea too is that we can plug in new virtual collection drivers and see more and more different kinds of collections appear in iRODS besides hierarchy. And that's it. Woo!